Exactly.
We're live? We're live!
In a minute.
Oh. Well, I think we're live. The music was really artistically panning down.
Yes.
You know, if there's anything that is always the same about this show is that it's never the same.
It's never the same.
I love it. We are keeping you guys guessing.
Yes.
We've tried a new studio setting. We built this entire studio from scratch in a warehouse in Austin, Texas, right next to Joe Rogan. And
Actually, we are downtown New Braunfels today.
oh,
So you will probably hear the phone and all of our amazing agents and, of course, some traffic too.
yes. I really hope there's no fire.
That's right.
That's
Yeah.
really loud downtown. But, you know,
It is what it is.
Yeah, it is
And
what it
we're
is.
live.
We're live. And so when you're doing a live show, you get to play with stuff like that. It's pretty
Yes.
cool. There's a crane downtown New Braunfels because
Mhm.
they're building a new rooftop bar next door to us
Yes.
and called Cadillacs and something.
Cowboys.
Cowboys and Cadillacs
Yeah.
or something. And it's like a rooftop bar they're building with iron. And they have a crane pulling the iron over and setting it down. So they have welders and generators. So who knows?
Pretty
We might
cool.
get some cool stuff. Yeah, it's neat to watch it going up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we don't remember what number this is, but it's around the teens,
Yeah.
episode teen. And we are going to talk about
Generational marketing and
So,
communication.
don't snap your granny.
Yeah, see, because generational communication sounds boring.
It did sound
And
boring.
you came up with the
I was like,
name,
no.
don't snap. And I was like, I don't even know what that means. I don't snap your
So
granny.
we're going to talk about it. It's not
All
like
right.
snap your granny. Don't do that.
Don't snap.
But please like and subscribe and follow this YouTube channel so that way you will be notified when we go live.
Yes.
As always.
Yes, because we have lots of things. You have lots of things you watch, you subscribe to, and if you ask for that little bell and you click on it, then it'll let you know when we're going live, and you don't have to remember.
Yes.
We hope you can hear us. We have our mic here. In when we were testing it, it was a little light, so we'll try to speak up. But hopefully, if you can't hear
Feel
it,
like
let us
we're
know.
yelling.
Yeah, we feel like we're yelling, but we want to make sure you can hear.
Echo, echo, echo. Yeah.
So, okay, let's talk about.
Okay.
First of all,
Serious.
can you explain to me what is? See, I don't have Snapchat.
Really?
Yeah, I know. And my kids, I think the reason is my kids had Snapchat when I was, raising teenagers, and
Mhm.
and it was annoying. Everything was annoying to me, and I just didn't think it was something I would need, so I never even messed with it.
Well,
So
I have it because my kids have Snapchat,
Oh.
and I'm Mama Bear, and I'm going to monitor what they do. But I actually do have another use for Snapchat, and we'll talk about that a little bit
Okay.
later.
So I think the concept we came up with was we did some research on how to best communicate with different generations. So the first thing I'm going to do is talk about what are the different generations.
Who are they?
You've heard people talk about millennials. You've heard people talk about boomers, Gen X. You fit into one of those categories. So I'm just going to do it real quick. I made some notes. I'm going to go real quick and kind of just highlight each generation real quick.
Okay.
Because I think it's fascinating. I could sit around and talk about this
All
forever.
day long.
I actually am certified as a senior real estate specialist
Oh, very
through National Association of Realtors, and that's basically what we talked about was what is unique about some of these generations and how to better communicate with them.
Okay.
So, all right, the greatest generation is the oldest one that we talk about, and that was born between 1901 and 1927. And so those folks, many of them aren't with us anymore. There are a few left that were in World War II.
Mhm.
These are also folks that were old enough to be a part of World War One.
Okay.
Of course, they headed right around the Depression era. But you can imagine these people, some of them were born when there were no cars, and they were, the technology was really bad or really old. Silent generation is the next one, 1928 to 1945. Silent generation is called that. These are just hardworking people who were born either during the Depression or right after the Depression, and they knew what it meant to suffer and just hard work and
Right.
grit your teeth and fight through it. Some of these guys are World War II veterans as well, or they were back home during World War II, stepping up, doing whatever they had to do to help the country survive. And so these are really hardworking people that know what suffering is and don't like to complain about it. And I think that's why they call it that, because they're not
Silence.
complainers. They just shut their mouth and go to work. And so they respect hard work and dedication and loyalty and integrity.
I love that.
Yeah. So then came the boomers, and the boomers, it's kind of a funny thing, but it was right after World War II, like 1946 and on. Think about it. All these soldiers are coming home from war, and they haven't seen their wives in a couple of years. So magic happened.
Babies happened.
And all of a sudden there was this huge generation of people they call it the baby boom. So they're the boomers. That's where they came up with that term. And what really smart people figured out was there's such a large group of people. Well, when those kids started getting into elementary school, they had to build more elementary schools than they'd ever built in this country. Well, then when they turned 16 or around that age, Lee Iacocca was working for the Ford Motor Company, and they created the Mustang because those kids wanted a cool car.
Muscle cars.
Yeah. 10 years later, he was over at Chrysler, and they invented the Dodge Caravan. The minivan became a thing because all those people were starting to have babies, right? So that's what's so fun about this is you start seeing. So after the boomers were the Gen X. Gen X are the kids of the silent generation mostly, and we were Generation X. That's me. A lot of us were latchkey kids, meaning both parents were working for the first time ever. And so when we got off the school bus, they called us that because we had a key hanging around our neck with a shoestring. And so we could let ourselves in the house and make mac and cheese in the microwave. We still didn't have cell phones, but we were there in that area. So we just played, we were the kids that rode our bikes and played till the sun went down and we came home, time for dinner, or we got in trouble, but our parents couldn't call us. It was just a different time. So we were probably considered
living the life.
Yeah, we were more independent. We had to figure things out for ourselves more. Yeah. And you see that in our behavior. Yeah. And then boomers had the millennials. And the millennials, that's you. Millennials were born between 1980 and 1994. So some of those you think about are 44 years old. And some of
I'm 43.
Not you. I mean, you're one of the younger millennials, but some are 44. And so we think of millennials sometimes, us older people.
Here we go.
Not you, but us older people think of millennials as these young people, right?
Right.
Because we've been hearing that term for 20 years, but those youngsters are now 44.
I know.
Some of them are grandmas.
We're still young. I know.
Not you.
No. Still young.
But so the millennials, as you can imagine, if the boomers had the millennials, and the millennials is a huge generation. Right. Right. Huge. And so think about that. It's pretty neat to see how many millennials there are. Now, the Gen Z are the kids of Gen X. Okay. That makes sense. And these kids were born with cell phones. They're born with video controllers in their hand. They were born, because even some of the millennials weren't born with cell phones. That technology. No, we didn't have cell phones. That was developing as you were in middle school or maybe elementary school, middle school.
Like late high school.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool to follow this. Gen Z, though, if the youngest, some of the Gen Zs are in their 30s now.
Wow.
And if you say the main age to start buying houses is 35, then we got millennials that are, or Gen Zs that are right there. Some people call Gen Zs iGen with the little I, right?
Yeah,
because of Apple,
that's cool.
And then Zoomers.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. And then after that's coming Generation Alpha and Generation Beta.
Oh, wait, go back. What was Zoomers? What was the age?
Oh, the age of Zoomers is 1995 to 2009.
Oh, so that's my daughter.
So you have one Zoomer, and then you have two Alphas, right?
I have two Alpha. 2012 and 2017. So yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. And then there's going to be a Generation Beta starting next year.
Beta. That sounds like Facebook.
Alpha Beta. That's Meta.
Meta.
Yeah. So it's just, I think it's fascinating as a sociological conversation to figure out who are these different people, and are there trends that each of them, are there characteristics about them that are unique? And it's true that there are. The silent generation, the boomers, 45% of sellers of homes in 2023 were boomers, almost half.
Yeah.
So that's crazy, because a lot of those people, they have the largest accumulation of wealth as any other of the groups. Because think about it, they're like, I think our friend Tanya said the other day, like every day, 100,000 of them are turning 65.
Right.
So there's going to be a huge strain on Social Security and on those guys are looking to retire, right? And they have a house that's probably paid off or mostly paid off.
Equity,
a ton of equity. So they're either doing reverse mortgages or they're selling and getting out of Dodge, moving closer to friends and family, because they want to retire. I've
Mhm.
heard if you go to Miami or you go to like South Florida and all these folks that have retired down there, the boomers, Monday night martini happy hour, they're out dressed to the nines like it's a Saturday night because they're just spending their retirement. They worked hard.
What was that show? Dynasty? Is that like Dynasty?
Dynasty.
I don't know.
Maybe. I didn't really watch Dynasty. I was more of a Dallas guy.
What's Dallas?
Dallas. It was like the original Yellowstone
Oh.
with
Okay.
JR and Bobby.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Okay.
Dallas.
That's what I was thinking Dynasty was. I guess not.
No, Dynasty was more uppity than that.
Oh,
Yeah. There was that was the rural one.
gotcha.
So anyway,
Okay,
we're
sorry.
digressing big time. We can sit around. Next episode, we'll talk about TV shows.
TV shows and millennials.
So it's really impressive or interesting to me that half the, so if you're looking at the landscape of today's marketing
Yes.
for real estate and you're saying, I really need to get some listings. I want to be a listing agent primarily.
Yeah. Who do you go after?
Who do you go after? Are you going to go after Gen Z that are 25? Or are you going to go after 65-year-old thinking about maybe moving closer to their kids or grandkids or retiring and pulling that equity out?
Personally,
Plus,
I'd go
yeah.
with the equity people.
Me too. So
Right.
think about that in your marketing that you would go after. Now, millennials are 38% of the buyers last year. That's to me a really big number.
Yeah.
But that means that if the Gen Z and boomers are kind of hanging tight, sitting there looking at these high rates and not really wanting to move, the first time buyers
Right.
are millennials because they're just now
Right.
35 to 45 going, okay, it's time. We've worked hard. It's time for us to go ahead and stop renting or move out of the basement or whatever
Yeah.
and start buying a house. So those are your great buyer candidates and you want to be able to connect with them. So
Yeah.
that's a good segue, I think, for what we really want to talk about. And that's how should we communicate with each of these
Yes.
generations, right?
So how do we talk to them?
You're the marketing genius.
Okay.
So-
Well, on social media, so we definitely can put out posts. We can geofence to these particular ages. That's definitely one huge way that you can do it. But you also have to know which platform that they're on.
They're going to respond to, yeah.
Right. So there's a lot of people. So Karen's going to pull up the screen for us that you can kind of see. But I can't see it that far away, so I have to have my little paper.
Yeah, that's right.
So for Facebook, of course, Facebook is one of the most popular forms of social media. But the boomers are the largest group on Facebook, which I would not have thought that. I would have thought it would have been millennials, but it's not. It's boomers.
On Facebook.
On Facebook. So
Yeah.
76% are on Facebook,
I heard this 10,
which is
like,
equity people.
10 years ago, I took a Facebook or a marketing class, like a
Uh-huh.
social media class at the board.
Uh,
And this girl said, it was mostly people older than me in
Yeah.
the group going, okay, we need to help with figuring out this.
Yeah.
And the girl said, if your grandkids, if the grandkids see their grandma on Facebook, they're already on to the next thing.
it's true.
And that was back when Twitter was, or when
Right.
TikTok was just starting and Snapchat was a thing and
Yeah.
Instagram was new. And that was a good thing to remember. If the grandkids are on Facebook, or if grandma's on Facebook, grandkids are on to something else.
They're on the Snapchat. So, and then of course, it kind of just goes down. You can kind of see that obviously Gen Z is not on Facebook a lot. That's only 11%. So I probably wouldn't target the Gen Zs I probably wouldn't target the Gen Zs on Facebook, but I would definitely target them on YouTube. That is where a lot of those kids are, or young adults, right? That's where they're at. And of course, it goes on. You can kind of see Instagram. A lot of them are on Snapchat. That's the yellow. They're in Snapchat. Which, let's talk about Snapchat, because you asked that question, and he was like, and I think producer Karen said she wasn't on Snapchat either, but Tanya's on Snapchat. I'm on Snapchat.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So there's a lot of us on Snapchat, not just monitoring our children, but you can also use it to geofence a particular area. So when you take a photo on Snapchat, you can swipe to the right, I believe, yeah, it's the right, and then these filters come up.
Okay.
And so when this filter comes up, so let's just say you're downtown New Braunfels, like right now, and if we were on Snapchat and we were to take a photo together and we were like, swipe right, it's going to come up Myron's or McAdoo's, because they have built a filter into their Snapchat that says that you were at this location. It's very popular when you go to weddings when you go to
Mm.
downtown San Antonio, things like that.
Riverwalk or
Yeah.
anything like that.
A lot of the major businesses have what we call a Snapchat map. And so they're on the map and they pay a monthly fee to have their business logo on
So
Snapchat
people can
filter.
share them.
So people can share them. But then again, you can retarget and reuse that data into your marketing ads, which is really cool. So if you're going for first-time home buyers and you're going for the Gen Zs and the millennials, then that's where you should be. That's where your social media platform should be on top of YouTube and Instagram and, of course, Facebook as well. So
Yeah.
that's how you can use.
So I guess there's a
Snap.
certain demographic of people, those Gen Zs and kind of the millennials, that Snapchat could be relevant for marketing.
Totally relevant. Yeah. I mean, it's all about how you use it and, of course, who you're marketing to.
Okay. And so let's talk off of social media.
Okay.
Like
All right.
because there are a lot of agents that
All right.
still don't use, there's direct mail.
Yeah.
Literally farming is still a
Referring.
thing,
Mhm.
and of course referrals. Now I did hear kind of a frightening stat. There are some stats that will tell you that only 2% of sellers found their agent by a direct mail ad.
Right.
But I think that's going to be hyper local to your area. Some
Yes.
people are going to respond differently to that depending on the saturation rate. But there's no doubt in my mind
Uh-huh.
that the number one, if you look back, if you've been doing real estate for say 10 years and you look back the last few years, where did your leads come from? I guarantee you the highest percentage is going to be from referrals, people who know, like, and trust you.
Yes.
And I know that
For
you
sure.
are dyed in the wool, baptized, disciple
Going to church.
of referral
Yes.
marketing, and I am too. And so I can't deny that that's the way to go. So
Hmm.
if you have friends, if you're my age and your parents are in their 70s,
Yeah.
then who are their friends and who do they go to church with and who are they working with and neighbors of?
Yeah.
And how can you get to those people? Because that is going to be, I think, the most productive way to market to. Yes, direct mail. Yes, writing letters. Hey, we need this person. We're trying to get the millennials into the boomers' houses,
Right.
right? If you look at it that way.
Yeah.
And so how do we communicate with the boomers and let them know that the millennials want to buy their house?
Yeah.
And they're going to buy their house for a lot. And then those millennials or boomers can move on to something else. So, I just think I think every kind of marketing anything you do is good because
Yes.
doing something is good.
Yes.
But I definitely think there's a sense of we can target. And
Yeah.
I would encourage whoever's listening to this to do some of your own research on that. Look at Housing Wire, look at National Association of Realtors,
And
Texas
then-
Realtors, ADEM, all the places that put out stats, your local board, where are these buyers coming from and where are these sellers coming from? And you will increase. And I think
Yes.
in the current climate,
I agree.
having sellers is the way to sustain your business. And so where can you meet millennials? I mean, meet boomers.
Boomers.
Go
Yeah.
meet the boomers. And
Grocery
maybe
store.
invest in,
They get their groceries. They don't go online. So go to the
they
grocery
still
store.
go pick up, yeah.
Yeah. They're not online shoppers usually.
Anyway, we're not going to give you ideas. You do it. You go find them. Go find them.
That's
I
what
mean,
the
go
show is about.
go
Giving them
volunteer-
ideas.
volunteer at the senior center.
Stop. They're not at the senior center.
70s and 80s.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking active seniors. They're
Oh,
playing
yeah.
pickleball. Go play
Pickleball.
pickleball.
Yes, that's a good one. Yeah. They're out there for sure.
Anyway,
Okay.
I just don't want to be responsible for somebody, going and standing in front of HEB and yelling at people and say, "Well,
Hey,
but
gotta
hey,
do what you gotta
whatever
do
works."
around here.
Yeah.
All right. So what's happening? What is happening? Well, besides beautiful downtown New Braunfels, because it's gorgeous. I wish this show was outside today. Actually, that might be our
We
next
should have left that
episode.
door open.
We should have. Fiesta is happening. Oh, I like it. Okay. So Fiesta is starting. I believe it starts today.
Yeah, we're close.
Oh, this
There are
weekend.
some pre-fiesta
Yeah.
events that are happening. We have things like 2 weeks Sausage Fest here, and with Worst Fest,
Yeah.
they have a 2-week party.
It's a party. This is my second time to go. So I haven't really been to the full-on Fiesta. I've been to a few things.
There are people that take 2 weeks off of work and they travel to San Antonio and get a hotel or an
could be a
Airbnb
work
and they
event.
stay there.
There are a lot of nonprofit organizations that raise
Yes.
all their money during that event, like having a booth at NIOSA
Yeah.
down in the Fiesta area. So if you're not from here, if you picture the Tower of Americas,
Yeah.
underneath the Tower of Americas, that's Hemisphere Park, and there's La Villita and all this area there, full of people. And they have party every night.
Every night.
And then
All
there's
day.
other events like on different college campuses and stuff. There's
Yeah.
oyster
Oyster
bake
Yeah.
and live
Have you been?
music. Yes.
Always break. Okay,
Yes.
I'm gonna go this
See,
year.
I grew up in San Antonio,
Yeah, that's right.
and man,
Okay, so
it's-
you can help me read this. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a 10-day celebration, the Battle of Flower.
Battle Flowers Parade.
It started in 1891. A group of citizens decided to honor the heroes of the Alamo and the Battle of San.
Jacinto.
Oh, see, I was going to say it different.
Jacinto.
Yeah, I was going to say it like
we
that.
say in Texas, we say San Jacinto.
All right. With the Battle of Flowers. So that's kind of how it started. And then it kind of grew into a parade. And it's been happening ever since then. They skipped, I think, World War II or World War One. And then
It was weird during the
they
pandemic.
did, obviously, COVID. They skipped COVID. But it's back on, and they have huge parades. My daughter's in one of them.
Oh, that's cool.
Fiesta Flambeau, the Knights Parade. The
There's
lighted one.
there's some cool events that not everybody knows about. There's
Tell
like
me.
Night in Old Alamo Heights.
Okay, what's that?
A thing. It's kind of like a street fair.
Oh,
Kind of like when we do stuff here
like
downtown.
shopping?
Yeah, they have booths and dancing and live music, and you just
Yeah,
kind of
me
walk
and
around.
dancing.
You just walk
Okay.
around the streets. They block off the streets, and
Okay.
so yeah, oyster bake is cool. There's the Fiesta Flambeau parade. That's the river. They have a
That's
parade on the
one my
river.
daughter's on.
Yeah, and then they actually have the Battle of Flowers parade on land, and then they the biggest thing is the coin. Is it no medals?
Oh, the
Fiesta
medals.
medals.
Yeah.
And so different organizations and companies will create a medal for 2024, and
Very
with
cool.
whatever the theme is, and they pass them out,
So it's like
and
a
people
thing.
collect them. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know a guy that has this big sombrero, and it's covered in pins.
Really?
And yeah, whatever he's wearing, he's covered in pins from like
Is it like the Taylor Swift concert where they just give you medals and you give them medals, or
maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, you can like exchange
Like you
medals.
exchange- yeah.
Yeah.
Very
It's the thing.
cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's like patches or something, but you people have a collection of them.
I love that.
Yeah, there's royalty. Like there's the there's
Fiesta
an organization. Yeah, they call him Ray Feo, I think. Ray Feo is the king, and because isn't Ray like king in Spanish?
We need a Spanish lesson today.
Yeah.
So if anybody knows, drop it in the comments.
On
what
our
we're
live
talking
studio
about.
audience, we have Mary.
Yes, we do have a live studio audience today, so
Yes.
we're looking for help over here.
They're over here nodding,
We're
or they're
like-
shaking their head like y'all don't know what you're talking about.
Ask a friend, phone a friend.
Fiesta, I know what that means in Spanish. Do you
What?
know what it means?
Party.
Yeah.
Oh,
So it's basically
guessed.
a party. So I used to work on the Riverwalk, and I was immersed in it at times. And I met
Yeah.
this girl that worked with me, really cool lady. She had moved down from Ohio or somewhere in the Midwest.
Uh-oh.
And I was like, so, I always ask people, like, how'd you get to San Antonio?
Yeah,
It's like, well, I came for Fiesta
no way.
and never left.
Hey, be down there with your
Like,
cards.
they're like,
people.
dude, this is fun.
Bring your business cards,
Right.
right? Bring your card or make your own medals. There you go. Take a medal for a realtor medal. There you
Yep. Okay, so
Okay.
that's what's going on.
go. Industry news.
Industry news. Have you ever seen?
Positivity. Industry news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a program for first-time buyers, and I've always had a heart for first-time buyers.
Right.
I've always loved helping people who are renting and they just didn't realize they could buy, to help them get on a path to do that.
Mhm.
And because it kind of feels like a service project. It feels like a ministry in a way, to be able to take somebody who, if you've ever been around somebody who didn't think they could buy and they could buy,
Yeah.
that elation they feel is so cool.
Right.
And I've studied all the stats on changing a generational financial health in a family, and inspiring them to build wealth for their family.
Mhm.
And kids do better in school when their parents don't move every year. And
Sure.
so it's always been kind of a labor of love, but it can be frustrating too, because some people, just have a hard time, managing their money and
Yeah.
making right decisions. And so it's almost like a parental thing, like, come on, let me guide you.
Yeah.
One of the tools we can use when working with that demographic
Mhm.
is Home Buyers Club.
DHI.
DHI Mortgage, who is D.R. Horton's mortgage company, has a program called Home Buyers Club. Other mortgage companies also have one. I think Motto has some similar program. I'm still doing some research on that,
Okay.
but you can ask your favorite Motto mortgage guy about that if you want,
Yes.
or gal.
But Home Builders Club is basically, if you're above a 540 and they feel like they can help you in the next 12 months to buy a home, then you enter that program. It only costs $39, and you have to watch a video on how to budget your money, how to be better with money, make better decisions with money. And then you're assigned an advocate, and that advocate checks in with you every 30 days and they give you a game plan.
Cool.
And it's basically like, if you do A, B, C, and D, and a little time goes by, you're going to go from that 550, 560, hopefully to a 620 or 640
Right.
with our guidance. And if you want a new home, and if you can get your credit up in the next 3 or 4 months, they'll even start building a home for you. So
Right.
without getting into all the minutia of it, the bottom line is there could be hope for that person that's right on the edge and they're paying $2,000 a month in rent.
Yeah.
So I've always been a fan of marketing to renters or people who are leasing, or to see if they maybe want to buy and just didn't know they were closer than they thought,
Yeah.
and offer them hope and get them enrolled in the program. So in my conversations with people, especially at my age, my kids are in their early 30s. One of them's a homeowner, one of them's not. And I'm encouraging the one that's not to build a better future. Now,
Right.
from an altruistic point of view, it's not about the money, it's about changing lives, which is where I try to live.
Yes.
Well, if I guide somebody to this program and they get their credit scores 40 points higher and they feel a little more confident that they can manage their money, then that person's just in a better place.
Right.
Their car insurance is going to be cheaper. Their life insurance will be cheaper. And they get a credit card, they buy a car, anything they do. It's just better. I've always said, it's just better to be an American with a higher credit score.
Amen.
It's bottom line. And so even if they say, sorry, I don't even want to buy, I'm going to go be a surfer and live in a tent, but I have a 640 now, thank you. Then
Right.
I feel pretty good about that.
And so these people, these companies, right, mortgage companies, they offer this program, but that doesn't mean that you can't offer this program. You couldn't start your own advertising on a buyer's club or offer this for your clients, and then you send them to
Whichever one, right?
Yeah, but
Mhm.
basically you are the go-to, the know how to fix something. So if you have a client that's been told no, circle back to them.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I'll tell you that talking to this person, the people that I talk to, I can't tell you how many people have said, I went and I did a pre-qual online. I got excited about maybe buying a house and I did a pre-qualification and no one ever called me.
True.
It hurts their feelings.
It does.
And or they say, come back in 6 months when you got it together. And it's like,
Oh.
then it's like, go learn how to be better and then call me. Cause
Come back. Like you're nothing to me.
and I hate to say that some lenders, maybe they just want the 800 credit score and the 25-day closing, but some of them may be comfortable and not willing to put in that extra time. It's just not their gift. That's okay. Find the
Yeah.
ones who are willing to love on them and keep them in the grasp, so to speak, or keep them in, like, hug them to the finish line rather than go get better. And I'm going to go look for better people, because it really does hurt their pride. It hurts their feelings.
Yeah.
And they just want to know that you care. And yes, that's not that if you zero in as that's your only thing you do, then you're missing out on some of the low hanging fruit.
Right.
But that's the higher hanging fruit that if you hang in there, guess what? I need closings next year too. And I need closings in 6 months, and I need closings in 9 months, referrals. So I'm going to start managing that as one arm of my business.
Yeah.
And then keep focusing on the other arms of my business. Because 5 years from now, that person's a seller.
Yes.
They're a buyer now, or buyer in 6 months, a seller in
Seller.
5 years to 7 years, and they know 100 people.
But they'll remember you if you take the time.
That's right.
All
Cool.
right. Well, it's fun today. Downtown New Braunfels. Fun vibe. Yes. Please like, subscribe. Thank you, Karen. Share with your friends and hit the notification bell to be notified when we go live. We're coming to you live every Friday. We try to bring positivity, encouragement, and things for you to do so you can grow your business.
I love it. Stay positive. Go get listings.
Go. Yes. Get listings. Bye, guys.